Hello, so today I'm going to quickly go over a Reaper template that I've been working on, which I've been finding really cool for generating a lot of interesting and inspiring source. So, to start with, I recorded my own electromagnetic interference, and I did this a while ago. And if I play you just the dry source here. So that's what it sounded like, and it's pretty cool, but it's quite dry, and yeah, it's not really that inspiring at the minute. So I ended up coming up with this with my Reaper template, which is quite spacious. If I didn't want as much space, I could pull back this channel for what none. But the beauty of this Reaper template and what I've been experimenting with is this whole idea of just pulling around faders to kind of add characteristics to the sound that you desire, really. So, where should I start? Like, for instance, to go over like the setup of this, all of these channels are pre-fader. So they're set up pre-fader from the sound effects main channel here. And what that lets you do is basically, because I've got this dry channel here, I could actually mute the dry channel altogether and you'd never be listening to the original signal, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, like, I'll pull some faders around and kind of show you the kind of stuff you can do with this. So, like, if I wanted this kind of low end, I could pull these back. If I wanted this reverb, I could pull these back. If I wanted more kind of delay. And then more transient. Now that's more decapitator. And now with decapitator, what I've done is I've got a static decapitator here, but also I've got one which has parameter modulation on it, which is a trick that James Denham showed me. So basically, what this will do is it will follow the envelope of the audio, and you can basically set it to any parameter that you want. And in this case, it's set to the drive of the saturation. Which doesn't seem to be working, actually. Let's have a look. Okay, it's because I've copied the project over. So that's not a problem. We can just set up again, I believe. I think the easiest way to probably do it would just be to set all up again. You know, nothing quite like the live show. Could all go horribly wrong, basically, but it won't. It'll go really well, I reckon. And a nice little trick with parameter modulation I like to do, so I don't blow my ears off every time I use it, is just like pull strength down, so you can just see that you're getting like numbers in. See, it's doing the trick, but you know, I didn't blow off my ears, did I? Which I mean, in the past, I've blown off my ears a substantial amount of times, so you know, you can't be doing that every time. So there you go. And then that way, you're making the sound a lot more dynamic instead of it just being stuck at a static value like 4 or something. But what I think's cool is being able to choose between both of them because it depends on the source material. My goal with this template here, potentially like branching out to separate templates too, is to create lots of different templates that could be used to generate lots of different types of source, really. So like for this, I've been finding this like a really good template for generating quite cinematic reverby stuff. Like if I load in a kick, and then you get some like reverb on the go. and then you get some of this sustained sub on the go. And then the difference between subtight and subsustained is subtight is just more on the transient, but subsustained actually is doing some EQing, and then it's actually adding some reverb, so you can just get some sustain in the low end. And then low mid is just like decapitator on the low mid kind of band, which I've EQ'd out. And that's static. But again, I could make that more interesting by doing some parameter modulation, having it on my parameter modulation channel, and then having a low mid, a kind of dynamic kind of low mid saturator. And I don't really like what delay's doing. I really like the texture that Supermassive adds when you do it quite subtly. But what's quite cool about playing with delays, which is something I've kind of underappreciated in sound design, is like if you have it set really high, there's a good chance it could just sound a bit naff. So it's quite nice just pulling it back and just sinking it in to the reverb. And then I've kind of got this granular section here where I'm kind of thinking for more kind of crazy source. I can start using this. I don't think it really works for the cinematic kind of stuff, but I was experimenting with some kind of bell source and kind of making shimmers and all this kind of stuff. If you want to make some shimmery kind of sounds, it's pretty interesting. Oh, that sounds horrible. And then crank silo up. So that's quite atonal, but maybe the crystallizer ones work quite nicely. There you go. And then repitch it. And repitch it. So I've just been finding it a really cool way to make really interesting source. Get silo on the go. I mean, I'm not really crazy about how that sounds, but I think more of the kind of purpose of this demonstration is to just show how interesting you can make the sounds with quite minimal effort. And I think especially if you just wanted to make an impact a bit more cinematic or add a bit more depth, and I think potentially for some certain types of sources, granularizing them with this kind of template could just be a really nice way of creating more source. But yeah, hopefully this wasn't too much of a ramble, and hopefully it inspires some folks out there to try some new stuff, because I've came up with some really cool source from this. I actually processed some like kind of mechanical kind of weapon sounds for it for a certain project, and it sounded really good. Yeah, just the kind of, I don't know, kind of cinematic kind of punch that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I just dragged in these assets dry, or just tried to kind of build a chain from scratch. And this whole kind of idea came from a video I saw on YouTube where a producer was talking about vocal chains and just stacking different types of delay and not melodies, stacking lots of delays and reverbs to kind of make a really rich kind of vocal chain. So I kind of wanted to kind of adapt that mindset to sound design and just see what we could do. But yeah, anyway, cheers. Hope you enjoyed it.